All right. So I did watch Super Sons. How exactly do they want me to? Is it Battle of the Super? Okay. First off, I didn't know Superman had a kid. I'm gonna be real with you.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. So explain to me about Superman having a kid first. Like, what's the origins behind this Batman? First off, I didn't know Batman had a kid either. So I'm gonna
Yes.
point that out too. So what's the origins behind all this?
Okay, so Batman, he didn't even know he had a son. He had a son with Ra's al Ghul's daughter, and
Oh, the
he didn't
one that
know
he was
she.
messing, the one that Arrow was
Right.
messing with in the
So
show.
what she did was she like tranquilized him, whatever. Took his, she basically raped Batman, right?
Mm-hmm.
Got his baby, and her and Ra's al Ghul raised him. But she didn't like what Ra's al Ghul was trying to do because Ra's al Ghul was trying to have him become the leader of the clan. Taught him how to kill and all this other stuff, and she wanted more for her son. So she, contacted Batman, told Batman that he had a son, and dropped him off like here. After the kid is like 13, 14 years old, here's your son. And he's having a hard time adjusting to, being in confinement. He's like a boss. He's the most dangerous Robin that ever was.
You know
He
what I
is.
like? There was a port where an individual jumped on. We're not getting into the spoiler thing
Yeah, we're
yet,
gonna do spoilers yet.
but they jumped on this jet, and Robin's like, "What are you doing? Just kill her!"
and that's what I like about him because he's not like Dick Grayson. He's not like Jason Todd. Jason Todd had all the bravado, but none of the training, right? Dick Grayson has all the training, but no bravado, right? So now you have Damon. Damon is a different animal within himself because he's better than Batman, right? Let's be real. He's better than Batman, but he's just in a little tiny shell. So if he was Batman's age and height and weight, I think he can beat Batman. But and Superman's son, he had it with Lois Lane. Lois Lane, that's John Kent. And I think that the smartest thing that DC did was give Batman a son, a biological son, so he can stop going around grabbing these orphans up with these little boys and stuff like that. Because I didn't think it played well with modern times now, right? Because yeah, in the books back in the days, it's like, oh, he got an orphan, and Dick Grayson, his family died. Let me take this kid, but then you put him in child endangerment, basically have him out there fighting criminals. So this is his kid, and he's the most trained Robin there is. Now, Superman's son, what you've seen in this movie is he was born, his powers didn't manifest itself because they didn't know if it would manifest itself or if it wouldn't. But over a period of time, his body absorbed rays from the sun because they're like little batteries, Kryptonians, and his powers were manifesting through trauma. So through trauma, it evoked his powers, like kind of like mutants in the Marvel universe. So you saw him get the heat vision first, and then he got the super strength, and he still doesn't have the ability of flight yet in this series, in
Yep.
this movie. Yeah.
There's a time, towards the end, portion of the movie where he's like, I got something for you. He's like, what? He pushes the ball. He's like, still can't fly. Like,
Like, and
it's like he takes like enjoyment out of being able to do stuff that his dad can't do to the real Superman because
exactly.
he put if first off he couldn't push the real Superman. So
But you notice how, like, it's so funny. Batman's son likes Superman, and Superman's son likes Batman.
mm-hmm.
And it's just so weird, so but they have a nice camaraderie because in the movie you get a chance to see Batman and Superman talk about their children and raising a son and how hard it is, and you can see two different styles in parenting. Excuse me. Where Batman is a little rough, but Superman is a lot more gentle, right? And
Mm-hmm.
Superman is a stronger one, so he has to learn how to be more gentle with his son because he's going to probably inherit the same powers that he has. Batman has to be a little bit more rough, with his son because of his upbringing and the fact that he doesn't have these superpowers to fall back on, and he wants him to be prepared for whatever the world is going to bring him. So it's two different parenting styles, but they both love their kids. They both love the hell out of their kids.
So,
And I like this movie. I
so
really
you want
do.
to go ahead and get into the spoiler part of it?
Yeah, guys, we're gonna get into the spoiler portion. Remember now, this is Battle of the Super Sons. It's showing on HBO Max now. So you can go check that out on HBO Max. It's something really dope if you're into animation. I think Warner Brothers, DC Animations, they do the best cartoons. I don't know why they can't translate it to their movies, but they definitely translate it well in the cartoons.
So I actually watched this a lot of it with Grace. Grace is
Right.
actually because I was like on and off the first time I watched it. I had to like go back and rewatch it.
Yeah.
But she was more into it than I was because I said I can't watch this. I'm half asleep. She's like, no, I want to finish it though. Like, so you know, I like the fact that like it kind of makes more sense that to me that Batman would have a kid. I didn't even know Superman had a kid in comics or anything like that.
Right.
Like, so it's interesting that like his powers keep evolving throughout the movie. Like, and it's like one of the aspects that I really enjoyed about this movie, is there was a part in the movie where they're fighting each other's fathers.
Right. They had
And
to switch it up.
Superman's kid's like, yo, let's just switch. And I have to respect Damian. I think that's his name, Damian,
Yeah,
because
Damon.
Damian was like, I fight Superman, that's fine, but we got to jump my dad real quick. Like,
Yeah,
like
for
there was
real.
no hesitation. There was no, I don't know. That's Superman's like, oh, that's fine. We just got to go get something real quick. Like,
Yep. We got to go beat my pops up because he has that the contingency plan. Yo, you know what I like?
the
When
moment
they
he
made
said
it up
we
to
got
the
to go
space
visit my
station.
dad real quick, I knew what he was getting.
I
Like
knew
I
what he was
knew.
going to go get. Yo, I like when they got into the space station and they were looking for the anomaly, and they opened the doors, and all the Justice League and the Teen Titans, well, the ones that were there, like Green Arrow, Martian Manhunter, Kid Flash, and
He just he's
Wonder
like, we're
Girl.
screwed.
Yeah. It's like,
And you
right.
could tell that Daniel was way more aware of what was going on than the kid Superman. Like,
Oh yeah,
yeah,
but it leads to big city versus small country. You know, it's he's a little bit more sharp in things to pick up and detective work and stuff like that because of his upbringing. And John Kent, he's named after the grandfather, Superman's surrogate father. He he's baseball. He goes to school. He's a normal kid, you know, and he doesn't even know as soon as the movie starts that his father is Superman. He saw the cape and the and the costume under the bed. He's like, oh, what are they into cosplay? And I was like, yo, Jimmy Olsen is black. That was a different take on Jimmy Olsen because when Lois Lane runs up on Jimmy Olsen, she's like, yo, open your mouth.
yeah.
Open your mouth.
It's kind of crazy that his mom, like, I didn't. His mom is what's the chick that Lois, is that the same
Lois
person?
Lane. Mhm.
But she is way more extra in this movie than I've ever seen her in anything. Like she
More
walked
action
up,
oriented.
yeah,
Yeah.
she burned him, and she's like, they're weak to fire, honey. Burn they ass. I was like, gee. What I'm kind of curious is how did her parents like come out so naturally than the other ones did?
Did her parents?
No, her parasite when they burnt her on the
Oh, yeah.
jet, her parasite just came straight out. Why didn't all the other ones come out like that? Because when they burnt some of them,
remember she went under the water. So
so
I
you
think
think it
after
was
they got
damaged
burnt,
and
yeah, it was
couldn't
damaged.
breathe or something.
Yeah. So that's the only thing I can come up with. I mean, but it was a plot point. You
Yeah, a
found a
little
plot
plot
hole.
point. It wasn't a big plot point though. Like
Yeah.
I really enjoyed, just first off, it's animation. I feel like this type of storytelling's done better in animation.
Yeah.
And I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed when they fought the Justice League, or I don't know if that was the
Well,
Justice League or
it was
not.
the Justice League / Teen Titans. 'Cause you
Well,
had two Teen Titans there, and you had two Justice League members there.
and they couldn't have, even though he had some of his dad's powers,
Yeah.
They couldn't have won that without I forgot the
Damon.
dude's name, with Damian, because Damian knew their weaknesses.
Yeah, Damon's a tactician.
Yeah,
Plus,
when he
he
was
trains
fighting
with
them,
his
he was
pops.
fighting
Yeah,
them for their weaknesses.
yeah.
It,
He's Batman, little Batman.
and you could tell that the kid, the Superman kid, he wasn't about that life. He was winging it, like all winging it, like
Learning it on the fly. It was funny that they shot him to the space observatory in Superman's original rocket
baby.
that he came
Yeah.
to Earth in. It was crazy. It was all cramped up in there. And he found his baby blanket and he uses it as a cape. And he's like, "Yo, it looks dope, don't it?" And Damon's like, "Nah, not really, not at all."
Yeah, so I have to, hat off to this movie. I liked it, man. I liked it, but what's the popcorn rating, man? I'm
I give it
gonna
a
go
4.
for it.
Oh, go
Yeah,
ahead.
I have to
Sorry,
say 4 too. I have to
you
say
give it a
4.
4, right?
I feel like it was a
it was
phenomenal
dope.
movie.
It was dope. It was dope. The animation was dope. So remember, the star creature was in the live movie adaptation of Suicide Squad 2, right? And my wife even said this was a better take on that creature. And in the movie Suicide Squad 2, it was just dorky, she said, and it didn't come off like a real threat, and it felt like they would be able to fix it. But this one, they really showed how dangerous the threat was and how it can hide in plain sight. Because in the movie, they was all on the face at all times. In this the animation, it hides in their mouth and then it burrows out right before it's about to attack or whatever to see things. So I
So
think this was well done.
is that thing like real in the actual
Yeah, in the
comics?
comic books, yeah.
All right, so I didn't know that, but yeah, I liked it. I thought it was a solid thing. I think people should definitely go check it out, especially if you are. I mean, we didn't really say the good thing about spoiling something like this if people showed up, towards the end is even though that we spoiled some of the plots in the movie, it's still worth a watch. Like
Yeah,
just
we
just how
didn't
they do
spoil too
things.
much.
Yeah, but it's still worth a watch, man. It's still worth a watch.
Definitely.